Gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, for 30 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And still I rise, Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. Proud to be an American, proud to be a member of this august body, proud to say that I'm a free man, unbought, unbossed, and unafraid. Proud to speak truth to power and to speak truth about power. Proud that my family, who love me dearly, instilled in me a belief that I could do anything that anyone else could do, but they also taught me that there were obstacles in life and that you will do some things, Alexander, that's my first name, you will do some things because of, and you will do a good many things in spite of. And that's been the history of African Americans in this country. We've done a good many things because of people of goodwill who have befriended us, but we've also done a good many things in spite of people of ill will who've done all that they could to defeat us. But still we rise, still we rise. And today, I'd like to discuss the topic, if not now, when? If not now, when? And this topic I embrace because of the Supreme Court of the United States of America and the possibility of a person of African ancestry who happens to be a female being appointed. If not now, when? Let's examine the facts. This is Black History Month. This is Black history. And there are facts that are undeniable, indisputable, uncorruptible. Here are the facts. And here is why we find ourselves giving this speech today, making these statements today. Here are the facts. We've had a total number of presidents of 45. 45 presidents of the United States. One of color. One of color. 45, one of color. Number of women, 0. Of any color, any persuasion. The presidency of the United States has been an all-male institution, and for the most part, overwhelmingly so, it's been a white male institution. Just the facts, that's all. 45, one of color, 0 women. Now, there are some people who find it offensive to hear facts. They find these facts to somehow cause them some degree of consternation. My dear friends, can you imagine how these facts impact people of color? How they feel knowing that we've had 45 presidents, but one of color? How these facts impact women? 45 presidents, not one woman? So if it causes you some degree of consternation, just imagine what it does to people who happen to be women. 45 men, 0 women. Now, let's take a look at the Senate. If not now, when? Let's look at the Senate. Total number of senators in the United States of America, total number, 1,944. 1,944 persons have had the honor, privilege, and pleasure of serving in the United States Senate, and it is a preeminent privilege, a superlative pleasure, and a splendiferous honor to serve in the United States Senate. 1,944 have had this great singular honor. Number of men, 1,886. 1,944 total senators, total men, 1,886. Let's look at the number of men of color, 27. Number of women, 58. Number of white men, 1,857. Senate's been around for over 200 years. For over 200 years, in fact, more than 230 years, we can say that the Senate has been overwhelmingly white and overwhelmingly white men. There are some people who find it uncomfortable to hear these things said. Can you imagine how it must make these persons who have been excluded from the Senate? Can you imagine how they feel? Can you imagine what they think when they would want to know that their children could have served in the Senate or had the opportunities that others have had? Yes, these are opportunities that have been denied some people. I love my country. It means something to me to be an American. I believe that we ought to have liberty and justice for all. That's why I do all that I can to make it real. I want to make real the great and noble American ideals. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. That's got to include all of the people. All persons created equal. That's got to include all persons. Number of men, 1,886. Now, the Senate of the United States of America is the institution that confirms persons who will be on the Supreme Court. So for over 200 years, we've had white men making the nominations, presidents, remember, 45. White men for the most part, one, Barack Obama, recent addition to the august club. White men have been nominating. And white men have been nominating other white men. White men nominating white men. 1,886 white men confirming other white men. This is Black History Month. If not now, when will we tell the truth about what's going on? Let's now look at the Supreme Court itself. The Supreme Court, highest court in the land. First assembled in 1790, more than 200 years ago, more than 230 years ago, more than 232 years ago, 233 years plus some months to be exact. Since this date, when the court was first assembled, we've had a total number of 115 justices. On the first court, there were 6. Total number of 115 justices. The number of men, 110. 110 men. Number of women, 5. Number of black women, 0. 230 plus years, 115 persons nominated and approved to the Supreme Court, 110 of them men, number of women, 5. Number of black women, 0. If not now, when? When? We've had 200 plus years to appoint an African American female to the court. If not now, when? Well, Congressman Green, black women haven't been qualified. Really? If you believe that, there's nothing wrong with Congressman Green. There's something wrong with you. Over this period of time, we have had 40 persons to serve on the Supreme Court who haven't been lawyers. 40 non-lawyers. Over this period of time, we have had justices who had no undergraduate degree. 5, no undergraduate degree. 40, not lawyers. The rules apply as they are applied. And the rules have been flexible. By the way, there's no requirement that you be a lawyer to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. 40 non-lawyers, 5 persons with no degree at all, yet not one black woman on the Supreme Court. There are people who don't want this subject embraced. They don't want it discussed because they'd like to kind of see this happen. Somehow it just occurs and everybody lives happily ever after. A lot of suffering has taken place to get to this point. And we ought not allow the truth about the consequences of being black to escape us. It's just true that color has been a barrier to some people being on the Supreme Court. 0 black women, 115 justices. If not now, when? When will we have a president who has the courage to do what should have been done many years ago? I thank God for President Biden. A man of his word and a man of courage. Courage makes the difference. There were great orators when Dr. King lived. There were persons who understood the issues as well as, and some who understood the issues better than Dr. King. What separated Dr. King from his contemporaries? It was his courage. He had the courage to do what others were afraid to do. They wouldn't speak up, they wouldn't speak out because they knew there were consequences for speaking up and speaking out. But Dr. King had the courage to look fate in the eye and say, I will do that which others could do, and some might even do better, but I will do it. He had the courage. So did John Lewis. It was courage. This separates those who can do, yet don't do, from those who get things done. President Biden made a commitment. President Biden is honoring his commitment. Others have appointed persons to the court because of who they were. This woman who will be appointed is not going to be a person without credentials. She will be a person who is prepared. She will be a person who is going to serve us well. And she will be a person who will make a difference on a court that over 200 years has had 115 justices, not one of them a black woman. 115 justices and not one a black woman. Over some 200 years, 230 plus years. If not now, when? Now is the time. Now is the time. President Biden is the person, and we are the people who ought to want to see it happen. I don't have a candidate that I'm pushing. I refuse to push a candidate. But I don't refuse to tell the truth about the circumstances that exist. So, Mr. Speaker, just to make things perspicuously clear. First assembled, 1790, Supreme Court. Number of justices on the first court, 6. Total number of justices since 1790, 115. Total number of men, 110. 5 women, not one black woman. And let us not forget that the Senate of the United States of America has had a total of 1,944 persons, and 1,886 of them have been men. 45 presidents, not one woman. What we have here is the definition of the good old boys club. The good old boys, white men who took care of other white men in the sense that they were supporting each other. White men were nominating, white men were approving, and white men got the job. This is the good old boys club. But we're breaking up the good old boys club. Diversity is breaking up the good old boys club. And many of the good old boys are not happy. They like things the way they were when their club was exclusively white and male. I don't support the good old boys club. I'm a free man, unbought, unbossed, and unafraid. Speak truth to power and about power. This is about power. This is about the good old boys club that has had its own form of affirmative action, exclusionary affirmative action. Over 200 years of excluding. And you want to now complain that there's a possibility that one black woman may be on the court? And it upsets a good many persons to know that a black woman may be on the court? 230 plus years? If not now, when? And if not this president, which president? I love my country. I believe that change is that which we bring about. Yes, the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice, as Dr. King put it, but it bends toward justice because we put our hands on the arc of the moral universe and we use our strength and our might and our willpower to bend it toward justice. Not just for some, but for all. We the people includes all of the people. So I look forward to seeing this great day when there will be the first African American female on the court. And I assure you that I'll never forget the president who made it happen. If not now, when? I yield back the balance of my time.
Under the Speaker's announced policy of January 4th,